Okay, so one of the questions we got on the forum there very recently was a chap who already has a WordPress website, and he's learning with us how to improve it in various different aspects. And one of the questions he had was, what are the major things with search engine optimization he can do? He's not very techy, but he's willing to put in a little bit of time on it. So what are the few things that he can do that will make the most amount of difference?
Okay, so going back to the basics of search engine optimization, there's two main concepts. There's what's called on-page and off-page, or really that should really be on-site and off-site. So the off-site stuff is links to your website.
Right.
So getting links to your website from other places.
They're called backlinks.
They're also called backlinks. Yeah.
Backlinks, okay.
And you should try and get backlinks from other websites. Now you should try and ensure that those backlinks are what we call quality. So they're...
Does that mean they're relevant to...
Well, relevancy is important, yeah.
Okay.
But it's more important that he doesn't get backlinks from porn sites, gambling sites, or sites that have malware or viruses.
That's very negative.
Yeah.
That should count against you.
That can count against you, yeah. I think the term for it is your website is in a bad neighborhood. You should try and get them, particularly if you can get some from relevant sites. So if you've got, say if you've got a very geographic specific business and you've got a competitor on the other side of the country, you can give a backlink to them and have them link to you, and that's of value because you're both relevant. And so what you might say is you might say, look, if you're not in our area,
right, that's a really good idea because he gives art classes amongst other things. So if he linked to someone else, even in Britain, say if you're actually in the UK and you found my site by accident, I recommend this lady or this guy.
Yeah,
right,
absolutely, yeah.
Cool.
So
okay.
so backlinks are a very important thing to do. Then when you're talking about on-page,
right.
Now backlinks are not so much within your control because you're hoping that people will give you links.
Right.
Whereas the on-page stuff, the on-site stuff, that is completely within your control. And my recommendation is to do everything you possibly can. So now in terms of optimizing the site, you should optimize it as much as possible in terms of changing the titles and doing all the things with the code that you should be doing. So what I mean is what you can do is if he's got WordPress, right? He can install a plugin called All-in-One SEO. Now All-in-One SEO, it takes 5 minutes to install it, and out of the box the defaults that it has are actually quite good. So you install it, you configure it, you set it to leave all the defaults the same and just click save. And I think we have a video on this in the plugin section. And what that does is that sets up lots of SEO defaults that are good for your site. So
it's more Google friendly.
So it's more Google friendly, yeah. And that's I mean, if you've got one thing that you want to do for SEO, go do that for WordPress.
That's the first simplest step.
Absolutely, yeah.
Right.
Now another thing that you can do is you can set up what's called permalinks, and you can make your permalinks a bit. What I personally
we have a video on that.
Yeah, we have a video on permalinks as well. I make them short and just the title. So the page title is the permalink. So that changes the URL that appears in the
address
page.
bar.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. Now, if you already have links to your website and you had different permalinks before, you want to make sure that those links aren't broken now. So what you might need to do is you might need to what's called redirect the old links. And to redirect, what you might want to do is you set up what's called a 301 redirect, which is a permanent redirect. And to do that, you might need to edit a file called htaccess. But of course, we've got a video on that as well somewhere, so we'll put a link to that below this video. So, but my advice would be do everything you can to get backlinks, and then do everything you can on the site to ensure it. And the first step would be installing All-in-One SEO.